If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, everyone. Yes, I am Christine McIver. I am the host of the Inspired Choices Radio Show, and I am so thrilled to have you here. Tonight, we have one of my most favorite topics talking about entrepreneurship and actually cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. So before we get into tonight's show, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a possibilities coach as well as a radio show host, a facilitator, a speaker, a leader, an entrepreneur, and somebody who loves to create. A few things that I love to do is actually working one-on-one with individuals to create the possibilities in the world that they know are possible but need some support to get there. It's something that really turns me on and lights me up, whether that's one-on-one, that's with a team, within an organization, or within a small group of people. It is something that really inspires me. And one of the biggest things that I do is I bring together individuals that want to bring their voice to the world and inspire them to create what they know is possible. I am the owner of the Inspired Choices Network, and I'm so thrilled to see so many amazing hosts in the chat room playing with me tonight. Thank you so much all for joining me. I just love that you're all here. Oh, it's a happy day for me. So, a couple of the businesses, the pieces of my business that I really love and want to put out there as an offer to you is I, first of all, have a program called The Pleasure of Business, because to me, business is pleasurable. Business turns me on and lights me up. If you've listened to any of my shows before, you will know that that's what I actually played as a little girl. I didn't play house. I played business. And that has been my pleasure for my entire life. And I love to show people how business can be pleasurable. And as well, I have a program called Divorce with Dignity, where I work with individuals to help them to move beyond their current relationship with honor, with dignity, and something that they can then move into a new relationship to create something even greater than they've ever had before. This can be intimate. This can be with family members. This can be with a boss, a business partner, whatever relationship is looking to conclude. What would actually be created if you did it with honor and dignity for everyone? So, those are just a couple of the things that I do. If you would like to know more about my specific programs, or if you're looking to work with me, you can check everything out at inspiredchoices.ca. That's my personal website. Or, of course, you can check me out here on the Inspired Choices Network under Inspired Choices Radio Show. Yes, there's a theme. This is the Inspired Choices playground. So why Inspired Choices? Well, I have always been seeking things that turn me on and light me up, what inspires me. And I've always known that it was my choices that have brought me to the next stage of my life. It's always the choices that I've made that have inspired myself to choose even greater. And tonight's show is Cultivating an Entrepreneurial Mindset. And one of the very first things that an entrepreneur's mindset is there is something that is inspiring them. So when you are thinking about starting a business, or if you have started a business, think back to that moment when you wanted to get started. What inspired you? What was inspiring about the thought, about the idea, about the product or the service? Look at that. Go back to that moment and bring that forth into this time. Many entrepreneurs, many owners of their own business, they begin to wane with their excitement with their business. They oftentimes get buried in the minutia of the paperwork or the to-dos, and they lose the energy of that inspiration. reach down, bring that forward. What can you have in front of you each and every day that actually renews that excitement within you to keep that entrepreneurial mindset going? When I was looking at naming my business, I have these 3 plaques that a friend made for me. One says imagine, one says dream, and one says inspire. And they hang above my desk in my office, and they're the 3 things that I look at every day. What can I imagine? What am I dreaming about? What's inspiring me? How can I inspire someone else? So that's what really turns me on and lights me up and begins the whole process for me. So last week we had a great show. I would love for you to go check that out if you haven't. I had a wonderful guest, Rob Murray, who I've met. He lives locally. I was actually interviewed in his car. It was such a fun thing to do. And Rob was on last week. We were talking about leading with authenticity. It was such a great, inspiring conversation. Do check that out. That was on February the 14th, I believe, or I'm going to be wrong on that. February the 21st, pardon me, under the archives. And it was a great conversation. I so enjoyed that. So tonight, cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. Have you ever asked the question, do I have what it takes? Can I truly have an entrepreneurial mindset? And what does that actually mean? People often believe that it's a gift someone is born with, or that it's always someone else who is better at than them. Is it possible to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset? I believe that it is. But the question really is, are you willing to do what's required? So, what is it to be an entrepreneur? What is it to really step into that? So to be an entrepreneur is to reach for something different. It is to actually see something else that is possible in the world. Now, the word entrepreneurial means characterized by the taking of financial risks in the hope of profit and enterprising. That's what one of the dictionaries says. That cracks me up. To me, it's way beyond that. It's way beyond the finances. The finances and profit, they are one of the definition, one of the parts of being an entrepreneur. What to me real entrepreneurship is reaching deep down inside and looking for what it is that we know is possible, and know that there is something else out there that is asking for us to birth into the world. So what is it to you? What does it mean to you to be an entrepreneur? And I would love for you guys to type your awarenesses, type what you know, what you feel it is in the chat room. It's so cool to get other people's inputs on that. So, it says an entrepreneur is a manager or a promoter of a theoretical production, borrowing from the French entrepreneur, one who undertakes or manages. Okay, so that rings, one who undertakes or manages. So someone who steps forward, enterprise, to be inspirational, to enterprise into something new. Oh my gosh, there's so much activity in the chat room. It's awesome. I'm just quickly looking at this. So, entrepreneurs. You know, one of the biggest things that when I'm talking to individuals that would like to start their own business is they have an idea and they get really excited about it, and then they go into, but I don't know how to be in my own business. I don't know how to do all these different things. And they believe that they have to be able to do it all. So how many people believe that being an entrepreneur means you have to do it all? Jody Ann says, stepping out of my comfort zone to do something bigger than me. Very, very cool. And now they're all yelling, show me the money, which is really awesome to see that all across the screen. If you're not in the chat room, please do come over into the chat room, inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and come play in there, and let's talk about what it is for you. Now, one of the things that I know is that there's no entrepreneur out there that knows every aspect of what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. But the very, very cool thing is that there are other people out there that have gifts and capacities that can contribute to your business. It's kind of like a community where each of us bring our wares, our capacities to the table, and we support each other, right? If you believe that you have to do it all, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to fail. Over 50% of new businesses actually fail in the very first year. And one of the biggest reasons why is because of this mindset that they have to do it all. Now, here's the other big thing. The reason they believe they have to do it all is because their business is not making money. And they will say, and I would love Kathy to chime in on this. Kathy does Financially Speaking here on the network. One of the biggest things is that they believe that if their business is not making them money, they should not be spending any unnecessary funds. Okay? Now, unnecessary funds, they may determine, well, I can figure it out. I can go and do it. Now, when I first started my business, that's one of the things that I did a lot, is I went and I figured out how to do something. It was over Christmas, so I wasn't really taking up any work hours away. I spent about 100 hours building my own website, and I taught myself how to build websites. Now, I have a love of technology, so that was a huge advantage for me. I'm always like touching buttons. What's this? What's this? So for me, that was exciting, and that was actually something that motivated me. If I believe that I have to do every single solitary thing, that can actually slow down my business. So if you have a capacity or you have a desire to create business and you believe that you have to do it all, you can actually stifle your capacities. You can actually start to lose your interest in doing the business because you're not doing things that turn you on and light you up. So that's one of the greatest things that I really would love for people to understand is you, and yes, exactly what Kathy says, you have to spend money to make money. That is a philosophy that I was raised with. My father was an entrepreneur, and that was one of the things he always said, and I always knew this. Now, spending money doesn't mean being frivolous with your money and just, not doing any of the work and hiring everybody else to do it. But one of the big things is, yes, you can, as Beth is saying, in that you can collaborate with people. Have someone to collaborate with you, right? That can be really, really wonderful. So they can bring something to the table and you can start to develop and work with them. There's so many networking groups out there. There's so many people out there that are desiring to contribute what they can do. What would it actually be like if you created your business from the energy of a community? What if you were to reach out to someone and you were to say, hey, I see you have this capacity with this. And you were to really look at it. And you were to look at, if I invested in this, what would that contribute to my business? A lot of the times when people approach me about my services, about my capacities with business, they'll be like, they're humming and hawing about money. And I will often say to them, look, I don't have a point of view whether you work with me or you work with somebody else, but here's the big question. And this is a question I want to pose to each and every one of you. If there's something missing or lagging or, really screaming at you to have done in your business, but you're not doing it and it's not getting completed, I want you to ask yourself this question. what is this costing me by me not choosing this? What is this costing me? This can be anything from getting your website up to going out and networking to doing the social media to buying that new computer to bringing that new piece of machinery in. What is it costing you? Because to have an entrepreneurial mindset, you need to be able to see what the investment can garner and what it also is costing you if you don't choose it. You need to be able to look on all sides of your choices in order to see the value you're receiving or losing. And as Kathy says, strategically spending money. Know your costs, watch your cash flow. Exactly. But also know what's required here for me to continue to expand this business, and what can the return on this investment be for me. If you're somebody that gets mitered down in worry and fear, reach out and connect. Hire somebody, even a coach, for 1 hour to go through this stuff with you. This can actually change the trajectory of your business forever when you're willing to look at this with a brand new set of eyes. Okay, we're going to go to our first break of the show. When we get back, I've actually got quite a list about what it looks like if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, and then we will get into more how you can cultivate more of that entrepreneurial mindset. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show here, where we're talking about cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. And when we get back, we're going to do more of this. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details, or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. We are talking all about entrepreneurship and cultivating that mindset. So I'm going to go through a list of items, of items that actually points to if you have an entrepreneurial mindset. And please know, you don't have to have all of them, and you can cultivate many of these things if you don't have them. Okay? So, number one, you have an ownership pride. So, whether you have your own business or you're working for someone else, you can have an entrepreneurial mindset, okay? You have the pride of ownership, all right? Whenever I've worked anywhere, I really felt like this was my own business, and I would step in and take that full ownership of what was going on. I didn't wait for someone else to make it, oh, well, you know what, that's their job to worry about it. Or that's, this isn't my business. Why should I have to worry about that thing? No, you have that entrepreneurial mindset if you own what's going on right in front of you, okay? And I'm telling you, as a business owner, as someone who's worked for amazing business owners, when you have that ownership pride, an employee, you're going to go far within that organization. When you demonstrate that you can do what it takes when the owner's not around, I'm telling you, that's where you're cultivating trust and you're cultivating the energy of this is someone that can move forward within this organization, whether they have the education or they have the past experience. If they're someone that takes ownership, I know they've got my back. Okay? So if you would like to even be a greater employee, start to cultivate that. The second one is you are always seeking better. You're a seeker. You're always looking for better. You're always questioning, how can I make this better? What can I tweak? How can this be improved upon? Okay? That is one of the biggest things is you are a seeker, right? Like, I love computer programs. The computer programs are something that really I enjoy a great deal. If you know me personally, you know how much I love computers. But I'm always looking for what else is out there. What can actually deliver something just a little bit more? How can I do something a little bit better? How can I turn it up, make it sexier, make it more inviting, have it actually work in my favor? So I'm always seeking. That's one of the things that I'm seeking. And I'm always seeking tools, both my tools for the mind, tools for the confidence, tools that I can actually share with other people. Those are a couple of the things that I'm always seeking. So what are you always seeking? Something that can be better. Number 3, you say yes even when you don't know for sure how to do something. How many of you, tell the truth, put your hand up, how many of you have said yes and then you went, oh shit, I'm not quite sure how to do that? Okay, hold on. Before they find out, I'm gonna go figure this out, right? You're someone who's eager. You're excited about the possibilities. You're someone who wants to jump in even if you don't know how to cross every single T and dot every single I at the very, very beginning. Yeah, education and growth are extremely important. Thank you, Beth. To continuously be harvesting new ideas, to continuously be teaching yourself so that you can grow. If you are not growing, you are likely, especially in this environment that we're in, if you're not someone who's constantly adding to your toolbox of knowledge, you're likely falling behind because of one of the greatest things is that there's so much is changing so quickly. We do need to stay abreast of it. Now, again, you don't have to do it all yourself. You can actually, get a group of people together and go, okay, what's new? What do you know? What can you share? How can you share some of this with other people and they share it with you? Number 4, you love a challenge. You have an entrepreneurial mindset if you love a challenge. Now, loving a challenge and being in that energy of challenge, 24/7, not so much. But challenges when they're presented forward and you get to rise to the occasion, you get to strengthen your muscles, you get to spread your wings. That is the energy of an entrepreneur, loving a challenge and wanting to jump in there. Number 5, your level of excitement and intensity sometimes scares you. That one to me cracked me up so much when it came to me. I'm like, oh my God, that's so true. I scare me sometimes around the intensity that I have and the level of excitement that I have. And it's good to be scared. It's good to be on that creative edge. It's good to turn you up. That keeps you on your toes. That keeps you alive. That keeps you wanting to have more and more in your world. When you begin to become stagnant, oh my God, that's where you constantly want to be going, wait a minute, what's going on here? What else truly is possible? When I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I can't even keep track, Rhonda, you could probably remind me of this, but a couple of weeks ago, I just started to feel so lethargic with everything in my world, and I felt like the excitement was gone. And I love to have excitement. Not always too much intensity. I had some intensity today. Yes, it was about a month ago. Thank you, Rhonda. I had some intensity today that my body was showing me, and it wasn't physical, although it manifested through the physical. Not so much fun. So that's one of the big things is to sometimes you're scaring yourself, but in a really frigging amazing, expansive way. The next one is you don't give up, even when you fall down. You don't give up. You may lay there for a little while. You may kick and scream like a 2-year-old. You may cry in the fetal position. You may tell the world that, screw this shit, I'm not doing this crap anymore. Why the hell should I do it? And then the whole time in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, right. You're not giving up. You friggin' don't give up. That's not who you are. And you're not doing it for anybody else but you, because it turns you on and it lights you up. That's the mindset of an entrepreneur. And you don't have to, again, do it all alone. You can reach out when you hit the wall. And please do, because if you are someone out there that gets turned on and lit up and you have capacities and knowings and abilities to share with the world, we don't want you to go away. We want you. Yes, my house too, Beth. We want you to be someone that sticks around, that contributes to the world, because I have this absolute knowing that each and every one of us contribute our knowing, our voices, our capacities, our gifts to the world. Together, we're creating something so frigging amazing. And yes, as Jody Ann says, fall down 6 times and get back up 7 times. Abso-freaking-lutely. You are a professional, not by the number of times you fall down, but by the number of times that you get back up again. And I know if you're somebody that's down right now, you probably want to tell me to go pound salt. I get it. I've been there many times. But the one thing that I know about an entrepreneur is they don't stop. You absolutely need support. We all need support in this world. We didn't come here to do this alone, and sometimes it can be difficult. So please do reach out. I give everybody a free 30-minute session. So if you're somebody who's hitting the wall, please contact me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. But here's the thing. Oftentimes, when you are hitting that wall, there is something even greater for you on the other side of it. There is something even more amazing, right, that can actually be brought forward. Okay, so Rhonda says, I think I'd be better off if I just moved my official business to my knees. I'd make a hell of a lot more money. Okay, Rhonda, let's do this. Yes, and Beth says, fall forward. Plus, it's our perception of failure, not necessarily another person's. Exactly. We have so much judgment on ourselves when we fall, and it's not other people. I know I'm so blessed to have amazing people surrounding me that, really give it to me sometimes, or very gently say, no, Christine, that's not where you're at. That's not what's going on. You've just hit a little bump. How many of us believe we've fallen down a mountain when we've actually just hit a speed bump? and how much are those speed bumps actually there to realign us, to show us what else is required so we can go even farther. Yeah, so we are up to our second break. This is the fastest show officially I've ever done in 7 years. So please stay tuned, everyone. When we get back, we are going to continue, and I'll continue with the list and then how we can cultivate even a greater entrepreneurial mindset. Stay tuned. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. It's so much fun seeing so many people in the chat room and their comments, and it absolutely turns me on and lights me up. And so does being an entrepreneur. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever chosen in my life, and it gets better and better all the time. Now, back to the list of an entrepreneurial mindset. You're an entrepreneur if you question things, if you're questioning things, including questioning your choices, including questioning where you are at. Now, I'm not talking about judgment. I'm not talking about judging yourself, but you question, okay, what did that choice create? Where am I at? Is this making me happy? Was that the right thing to choose? There is a form of judgment in there, but it's not from the right or the wrong. It's really looking at what did that create. I have made a shit ton of choices that did not create greater. And I'm sure that I will make many, many more. If you're afraid of making choices because you're going to, quote unquote, fail or make a shitty choice, guess what you're also going to do? You're not going to make great choices, choices that contribute. You can't allow that fear to stop you because it's a lie. You're going to continue to evolve, and you are going to be contributing even if it's to your own knowledge base. When you are asking questions and you're looking at what else is truly possible with how you're creating your business or how you're communicating with your clients and customers, how you're expanding yourself, which direction your business wants to go in, when you are asking these questions, you are able to expand. And when you're asking questions of the universe and you're getting more and more awareness, that is going to contribute as well to you and as well to the rest of the world. But you've got to be willing to look at the choices that you've made and acknowledge, really, be authentic with yourself and acknowledge what did that choice create. And in doing that, in asking these questions, you will become more clear about what you're creating and what works and what doesn't work for you. All right? And you've got to be willing to continuously ask questions about where you are at, because in that, you're staying present with your business. If you're not staying present with your business, if you're just in the, mundane, I'm not even getting the right words, you're just like going along to get along, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, the energy of that will absolutely just start to wane the excitement of your business. And who wants to choose to play with, work with, purchase from, create with someone who is in that energy? You just, can you imagine walking into a store? Like, let's say it's a clothing store for men or women. And the owners in there are just kind of doing what they want to do, kind of just doing what they have to do to pay the bills. Whether they have beautiful clothes or not, the energy of that store is going to be so evident. There will be no excitement. There'll be no enthusiasm. There will be no generative energy to contributing to you and your body with the clothing. You will watch that business go out of business. So what do you need to do to turn up your excitement? What do you need to do to infuse that energy of excitement into your business? Again, go back to that moment when you first got that idea of going into your business, right? What was that? Go meditate by the water. Go sit in nature. Have a beautiful bath and just close your eyes and connect in with your business and that moment of birth within. Go sit on a sexy lap. That's also good too. Go be with your business and connect in with that birthing of that idea. Allow that energy to contribute to you here and now. Whether you've been in business for a year or 15 years, it can still contribute to you now. Pull that energy forward and allow it to speak to you. Your business will speak to you. You can speak to your business. And I'm going to give a plug out to my girl, Carol Glover. She does amazing sessions called Energy Sessions with Your Business. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the words straight right now. Carol, if you could type that in the chat room. She is absolutely phenomenal. Da bomb is right. And she has contributed business scans. Thank you, Carol Aranda. She has contributed to my businesses so much and helped me to learn to communicate and receive from my business, and it's made such a beautiful, easeful contribution. You definitely could connect with Carol, and Carol Glover. You can find her on the network here. You can find her on Facebook. Carol at Firehorse. I'm not going to get the email right. Carol, please type that in the chat room, and then I'll say that before the show ends. Okay, so that's really, really important. You want to absolutely be asking these questions. Here's another sign that you're an entrepreneur, or you have an entrepreneurial mindset, whether you're in your own business or you're working for somebody else, okay? You take action. You take action. You're not someone that sits back and waits. You take action. You jump in and make it happen, all right? That is absolutely the mindset of an entrepreneur. Now, maybe you don't take action every day, but you're thinking, right? These things are going on in your mind. You have an entrepreneurial mindset when you're taking action, even if it's just in your mind where you're writing ideas down, all right? You're stepping forward. Yes, taking action was number 8. Now, here's Carol's website, firehorseinc.ca. Do check her out. She does this amazing service, and you will definitely be grateful that you did, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So number 9, you don't worry about failure as much as you desire to create. You don't worry about failure as much as you desire to create. That is so, so important because you're looking for something even greater. You're always looking for what else you desire to create. That's more on your heart than it is about the failure piece. All right? You have that deep, deep desire. Number 10, you're sometimes scared. You're sometimes scared. And you're sometimes trying to pull yourself back and questioning, do I really know what's going on? Do you know what? If you're not scared, if you're not pushing yourself, you're not going to grow. You're not going to expand. You've got to be pushing your limits. You've got to be pushing that ceiling. You've got to be stretching yourself because here's the thing. An entrepreneur is always seeking more. And if you're not scared, if you're not pushing yourself, you're going to become apathetic. You're going to become bored, and there's a very, very strong possibility you will walk away from being and showing up in the world with your capacities, with your creations. Really important to push yourself, challenge yourself, and yes, scare yourself. Number 11, you have a desire to serve. Now, this is not about being a servant and jumping underneath, everybody else's needs and desires, but you do have a desire to serve. You have a desire to create and contribute to people, to have more and be more in the world for others. You can see where other people maybe are struggling and where what you know, what you do, what you desire, what turns you on and lights you up can contribute to other people. Oh my gosh, when I see people out there struggling with their, with bringing their voice to the world, I'm like, oh my God, you've got to come on the radio. You've got to come on the radio. Let's bring your voice to the world. Well, the minute I say that to people, it scares the crap out of them, the idea that their voice is going to be on the radio. And then before you know it, they're on there and we can't shut them up because they really do desire to bring their voice to the world. That's one of the things for me that lights me up. I desire to contribute to people, to bring their voices to the world. What is it that you desire? Where do you want to serve and be of service for others in the world, where you know that you can contribute to them stepping up more into their brilliance? Number 12, you don't wait for permission. You don't wait for permission. You may pretend like you're all that sweet littleness, but you don't wait for permission. You jump in. You jump in and you do what's required. And you're like, somebody may get ticked off at me. Somebody may yell at me. Somebody may, the boss may get mad at me or whatever. But you step in. You don't wait for permission. Number 13, this is really, really important. You enjoy change. You actually enjoy change because you get bored with the same old, same old. Yeah, there's lots of times I say, you know what, could we just have an easeful day today? Because sometimes the change is so fast and it just throws me and keeps me running. But truth be told, I love the change. Do you love the change? Do you love the grind? Do you love creating? Do you like the excitement of not always knowing from every minute to the next what's going to happen? That's an entrepreneurial mindset. Do you get bored easily? That's number 14. You get bored easily. You love the change. You need that stimulation. Boredom actually it's like the death to an entrepreneur. It's like, oh my God, I've got to have something else going on here. This is just, and actually boredom can actually kill your business. It actually just takes you out. We need the change. Absolutely, Tara. But the boredom can actually get you, you walk away. It's like you don't want to engage anymore. And that's why challenging yourself and scaring yourself and really pushing yourself can keep you engaged, keep you stretching yourself. Number 15, you don't have to know how to run a business, and you often are questioning whether you have that capacity to run a business, right? This is an entrepreneurial mindset. And that's kind of what I started the show with. We question ourselves, do I really have what it takes to do this? I'm going to tell you, this is my philosophy. If there's something that turns you on and lights you up, if you've got this desire to bring something to the world, whether it's a service or it's a product, you've got it. But now you've got to really look at where do your capacities begin and end, and where do you need contributions from others. Okay, I'm about to cough, and we're going to go for our last break of the show. So please come back. We're going to wrap the show up with a bunch of ideas, a bunch of questions, so we can continue to create even greater. You are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network, and we are talking about cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Thank you so much for coming back to the program tonight. We are talking about cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset. And before we jump back in, I just want to let you know that I actually have a coaching special that's on right now. My coaching sessions, one-on-one, are $250 an hour. And I have it on right now that you can purchase one session for $150 or 4 sessions for only $450. So that's actually nearly a 50% saving. So do email me, Christine@InspiredChoices.ca, especially if there's questions. If you have questions about business, how you can begin, expand, and move beyond where you are with your business right now. As I said many, many times, business, I'm all about business, and business turns me on and lights me up. So let's get back to the entrepreneurial mindset. How do you cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset? Well, grab this list, and actually, if you email me, I will send you this list that I've put together, and so you can begin to look at this Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. I will send this list out to you. But what can you be doing? Be willing to make tough decisions. Be willing to not cower around what's going on in your business. Are you someone who does everything to avoid what you know you need to look at? Or are you willing to actually step in and look at what's going on and how am I creating this? How am I contributing to this? How am I actually stopping this from expanding and growing? What is it that I'm doing or not doing that's actually stopping my business from growing? How can I grow just a little bit more? Every day, one of the questions that I ask, I actually have it in a pop-up on my phone, is how can I be greater today than I was yesterday? How can I be greater today than I was yesterday? I don't go into my mind to figure out how I can. I'm just asking that of the universe. I'm asking that of myself. I'm demanding that I be present with my business, and I'm willing to look at what my choices are actually creating. Here's a big, big question that I want to put out to all the entrepreneurs out there. If you were your boss, would you fire you? If you were your boss, would you fire you? If you have ever had a full-time job working for somebody else, you know what it takes to work for a strong organization, right? I'm going to guess that most people that are entrepreneurs, you've worked for a strong organization. Rhonda says, F no, give that bitch a raise. Stat. I love it, Rhonda. If you've worked for a strong organization, a strong leader, you know that they demand great of you. Do you demand great of you? Or should you actually fire you? When you start to work from home, if you're in your own business, it's so easy to get pulled away. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to say later, tomorrow. You've got to be willing to treat your business with the same integrity and honor that you do other people's businesses when you've worked for them. You've got to cultivate that mindset that this is a real business and it's something that I'm going to continue to make choices to create it even greater. You've got to be willing to be upfront and honest with yourself. Yes, you've got to be willing to fail. Fail forward. And that was something that we talked about last week with Rob Murray. It was a great conversation. Fail forward. Be willing to keep pushing yourself. Be willing to do that. But also be willing to be authentic with yourself. What are you choosing or not choosing that you know that if you would choose differently would actually expand your business? Do you have the mindset that you just have a small business? Even that word, I know it was a couple years ago that was kind of going around, is stop calling your business a small business. How is it going to expand? It's a business. You don't need to judge the business. You don't need to label the business. It's a business. And if your business wants to be a gigantic business, you know, if it's got that capacity to be a really, really large business, you can hire people to get on your team, right? So what choices are you making or not making that is actually stopping your business from growing? And what lies have you bought into about yourself as an entrepreneur that actually aren't true? And here's the last one. Please know you have the capacity, if you are willing to look at every day and ask yourself, what's required for me and my business today? Keep asking questions, my friend. Next week, I would love for you to join me. We're going to be talking about learning to trust you, and I'm sure it's going to be a big follow-up of this week's show and last week's show. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please check out the archives, and until we meet next time, remember, you can always make another choice.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.